jasonnewland.com. My name is Jason Newland. This is Let Me Put You to Sleep. Whisper. Ironically, both my most popular recordings and my least popular recordings. Yay! Hello, 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 hello. So yeah, so this is Whisper Monday. Yeah, it's Monday again. Monday don't half come around quickly. So I'd just like to say a big thank you to all the well wishers on my Facebook page. Thank you. And also address a few moans about me doing the whisper recordings. Just let you know these Whisper Mondays and Whisper Tuesdays and Whisper Wednesdays, they're not replacing anything. It's an additional thing. So it's I think I've been doing these, it's kind of first thing in the morning. I wake up, I do a wee wee, and I make a recording. Now, because of the time, whispering is the only time really that I can do any kind of whisper stuff. And when I do wake up in the morning, I'm kind of like a different person to how I am later in the day. I was thinking about this before I made the recording. I'm not sure how to explain it, really. Can't believe my voice gets croaky when I'm whispering. Really. Okay, can't do it again. But I suppose this is just... I don't know if I'm going to do these regularly. I just happen to have done one for a few days in a row. But my intention is to get back to a degree of normality and do the Let Me Put You to Sleep recordings like I was doing them. You know, Monday's Boring Objects, Trivia Tuesday, Q&A Friday, Saturday's Summary, maybe even Sunday's Papers. Maybe. We shall see how things go today. Over the last few weeks, I kind of my consistency lacked somewhat, and a strange dream last night. That I was in this, situation where everybody was related to me, and I was trying to comfort a female relative, I don't know, sister or whatever. And none of it made sense. Not really. There was a speedboat, there was a bloke, there was a man, I don't know who he was. Just trying to remember bits of the dream. I think my downstairs neighbour just farted really loudly. Honestly, I just heard brrr, like a big vibration, like a little drill being set off. That's funny. Brilliant. So yeah, the weekend was a bit boring, to be honest. There's no boxing, no nothing really. Just went to bed early both nights. I think I was in bed by 8 o'clock. Both Friday and Saturday. No, Friday, Saturday and Sunday night. There's not a lot going on. Yesterday I did a recording on grief, and I was recording as you do. It was in the afternoon, and all I could hear was screaming in the garden, just shouting and screaming, kids and adults. It was like I was getting mildly wound up. I don't ask for much, just a little bit of peace, just especially when I'm making a recording. So I stopped talking and I got up and I moved pretty much all of my books from my bookcase. Well, I've got 3 bookcases, and I moved them onto the windowsill and pretty much filled up most of the gap of where the window is. And it seemed to do, it's done quite a good job of soundproofing the room from the screaming kids. I was like, wow. It seems a bit overkill though, to be fair, because I'm looking at it and it's just like, it looks a bit messy. Looks like a modern piece of art. Something you might have seen in an art gallery. We know what art is. It's weird, but it's definitely, I mean, it's quiet now anyway. I mean, if you listen to the beginning of yesterday's recording, the grief one, you can actually hear squeaky screaming over there, and it's just too loud. It's just too, for me, it's just a little bit too loud, and it's constant, and it's, yeah, I know I'm moaning, but it is a little bit too much sometimes. And make my voice up weird again. You get that aching, that's it. Making recordings is something that it's all I've got. It's the only thing that I do, and it's, I need to be able to have that sense of quiet. Now there is a way around it, and I'm thinking about working my way in that way, is to get my table out of the storage room, put it in the other side of the, yeah, put it the other side of the room, and then start using the other microphone again, because that doesn't pick up so much sound from outside. So I might do that instead. I don't know. I'm not sure. Just trying to get in touch with how I feel. I feel okay. Yeah, I'm alright. I feel alright. Yeah, not much going on. My eyes feel a little bit strained. I got them closed. Feeling probably a little bit hungry. I'm still trying to remember that dream. It's gone ut in my head. I was a little bit restless last night. To start with. Quite easily just fall back to sleep, which just shows there's not much going on inside my brain right now. No change there then. Vinny's been good. Fast asleep on the bed. It'd take quite a lot to wake him up. Once he's gone, he's gone. Like really, it's a very deep sleeper once he falls asleep. Oh, it just reminds me, there's been times when I've kind of tried to wake him up. Just like playing, clicking my fingers and doing a little dance and nothing. It reminds me, there was a TV, it's a movie called What About Bob? With, what's his name? It's the actor that was in Groundhog Day, Bill Murray. Yeah, What About Bob? So he's, if I'm correct, he's a psychiatric patient, and he goes and visits his psychiatrist, who's Richard Dreyfuss. That's a lot of information that's in my head. And he stays over. I might have this wrong. There's this one scene where Richard Dreyfuss is trying to wake him up. And he's yelling, he's bashing cymbals together, drums, all kinds of things. Nothing's waking Bob up, or Bill Murray. He's doing this for like a few minutes, and there's a whole sketch really where he's showing him different ways trying to wake up Bob. And then at the end of it, Bob's lying there, and his alarm clock goes off. And he just wakes up, yawns, and says good morning. It's very funny. I've ruined it really, haven't I, if you haven't seen it, but it's an old movie from probably the 90s. So it's a while back. 80s. What About Bob, it's called. Richard Dreyfuss and Bill Murray. Yeah, it was good. Oh, there's another scene. It's a different movie, but there's a couple of I just remember rewinding the videotape because the comedy clip caught me off guard and made me laugh so hard that I had to go back and rewatch it. That was one of those that was one clip that I kept rewinding because it was so funny. And the second one, another one was Gene Wilder. Gene Wilder was in this movie and he's standing outside the door of this big mansion house thing. And this lady kisses him on the lips. And Gene Wilder looks disgusted and he rubs his lips, screams and runs away. It's very funny. I just found it hilarious. I remember rewinding that because it caught me off guard. I did not expect that. As Gene Wilder was, I think he's one of the greatest comedy actors. Something, as they say, funny bones. He had it. So funny. It was that obliviousness, almost that look in his eyes, like wasn't quite sure what was going on around him. But I think people like him, if you love his movies, his comedy movies, possibly avoid watching any interviews that he did, because he wasn't that person. He was very serious, and he wasn't. I know he obviously wasn't that person because he's an actor, but I quite like the idea of him being that person. It's just, if you see Jim Carrey being interviewed, he's all serious these days. But then you get some entertainers or comedy actors, and they like to, I don't know, they're just naturally funny. If that makes sense. I met a few comedians like that. Some that were just really funny people, off and on stage. I don't think I ever saw any of the really funny ones make it successfully, like the ones that were funny off stage. It's almost, which is quite strange. But the ones that were really funny on stage were just, I don't know, it's hard to explain. They weren't like that I suppose also those comedians that are successful when they're doing the clubs and they're, doing the different comedy clubs, they're probably tired of being funny and they need a break from it. Especially if they're doing maybe 2, 3, maybe 4 gigs in one night at the weekend. The probably last thing they want to do is tell jokes when they're not on stage. Although I did get a lift with Ricky Grover once. This is before I knew who he was. And he did his character Buller the whole way. So he gave me a lift in his sports car from the comedy club. Probably about 94. And maybe 95. And he gave me a lift to Stratford. I don't know where he lived. I think he lived in Bow or Canning Town or something like that. And I didn't realise it was. I'd not seen his act. And it was the Buller, where he plays this character called Buller. And he did that the whole journey. It was very funny. But he was just playing a character. I think my favourite comedy character now is Alan Partridge. I've decided, I've made my decision, and Alan Partridge is just so funny. All the nuances and I guess having followed him for decades, seeing the way the characters developed, is so good. Now, I don't know how well known Alan Partridge is outside of the UK, and I don't know how understandable the character would be, because it's the character's funny on different levels. It's funny in itself, but also it's kind of made fun of a lot of not just, I suppose, the radio DJs that then went onto TV and did chat shows and stuff like that. He's got some of those mannerisms, and yeah, it's such a great character. And I'm pretty certain that Steve Coogan, who is the actor who plays Alan Partridge, probably gets completely fed up with doing that character at times and wishes that one of his other characters was as popular. But his audience has grown up with him. much. Maybe 5 years. So yeah, let's say 60. So you might be able to do that character for another 20 years. I tell you, one of my favourite roles that Steve Coogan was in was when he did Laurel and Hardy. Laura, what was it called? I can't remember the name of the movie. I think it might just been their first names. Stan and Lawrence. Oliver, Stan and Oliver. I think it was that, yeah, Stan and Oliver. And Steve Coogan played the skinny one, Laurel and Hardy. Hardy was the big one, and he Laurel. Stan Laurel, so he played Stan. He even had his eyes. I mean, he's always had his eyes. But that was strange because he had the same eyes. He has the same eyes as Stan Laurel. Which makes me think that he possibly wanted to play that character, that role, play Stan Laurel for a long time because he knew he looked like him. That was a really good movie as well. It was really just about their relationship, their friendship, and, you know, kind of the last part of their lives together. I suppose Stan Laurel was a little bit like Benny Hill. His life was about working, and in the same way that Benny Hill used to write jokes when he was at home, even though he wasn't on television anymore. The thing is, now, not being on television wouldn't have made a difference to him, because he could have just done his own YouTube channel and did his own stuff, and he wouldn't have been restricted by television. Plus, he was wealthy and he was popular in America, which makes me wonder, why didn't America give him a TV show? But he used to be writing jokes all the time, and I think Stan Laurel was the same, always writing. It's a bit chilly in here today, a little bit chilly, mind you. That window is open. I had to open the window because it was stuffy with all those books in the way, which is weird. I wouldn't have thought it'd make too much difference, but I guess some of the air's getting through even when the windows are closed. Yeah, I'm not sure what to do about those books being there. I'm a little bit concerned that if one falls, the whole lot will fall. And there's a lot of books, like a heavy load of books. There's probably so it probably doesn't weigh as much as me, but maybe it does. I don't think so. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to. If you condensed all those books into then I'm thinking some of the books are quite heavy, and there's, I don't know, 200 books, maybe more. So I try and count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60. 1, 2, probably 250. So I think my plan for today is to just have some breakfast, have a cup of tea, and then aim to do Monday's boring objects, and maybe do a hypnosis recording as well later on. And outside of that, nothing much else really. Nothing really going on. So I'm going. Thank you for listening. Remember to be kind to yourself, because you do deserve to be happy. Be gentle